So here's the deal with electric stunners. You want to make sure that your electrodes are clean. That's the key. They should shine. You want to polish those up on a regular basis. This is a common problem that I actually see, that residue will build up on the electrodes because there'll be a little bit of burned residue from time to time that kind of accumulates. That's going to cause more resistance in your circuit. They need to shine. Really important. On a monthly basis or so, check the voltage and calculate the amperage from your stunner. You want to check in on that just to make sure that it's maintaining performance. One thing that's really nice with this is if you actually if you're stunning pigs with electric stunners, take a cadaver head off and then lay that head on the floor and stun that head again. If you do it while the head is still relatively fresh and you attach your multimeter probes the way that I'll show you in just a second, you'll see the performance of the stunner almost exactly like how it would have been on the live pig. Now these heads deteriorate over time, so you want to do this very soon after you're done killing pigs for the day. So the question here is, am I using the correct setting on my stunner? And the problem we run into with some of these stunners is that these numbers are actually pretty arbitrary. They don't mean much. You got to test to see what the actual output is. So this is pretty easy to figure out. What we're doing, or what we have to do, is we have to use an equation called Ohm's law. And the way that this works, essentially, is that it gives us the opportunity to describe how electrical energy is moving through a circuit if we know two of these three things. So we need to either know the current and the voltage, or some other combination of voltage or impedance, the resistance in ohms. If we're going to measure our voltage from our device, here's the way that this works. You get a multimeter, a digital multimeter. Set your multimeter to AC volts. Connect one lead to each electrode. I typically do this procedure by myself. The reason being is I don't want somebody well-meaning to plug something in or push some button while I'm standing there. So here's how I do this. Because you got to maintain safety, and what you don't want to be doing is something goofy like holding this thing between your legs and squeezing the switch and holding these here, because you're going to hurt yourself, all right? So here's how you do this. This is the safest way I've found to test these wands. You take your probes, your multimeter probes. You take some black tape and a little bit of emery cloth. Polish the probes here until they shine. You want to make good contact. Then we take our black tape and we just tape our electrodes directly to each leg of our stunning wand. Same thing goes for the tongs here. You just need to shine it up and then make sure you're making good contact. And you're going to just tape your leads on like this. You want to make sure you're making really good contact. So these are nice and tight. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to test this stunner right here. So we're going to set our system up. Get my wand hooked up here. And I'll tell you this, if you are not comfortable around electricity, have an electrician test this thing for you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, so at this point, this stunner is still off. So I'm going to flip it on. I'm going to look over here at my multimeter. I'm still reading virtually 0. That's a good sign. If you turn your switch on and this thing is reading that it has like significant output, then that means that you've got a problem in wiring here. So the next thing I'm going to do is set my stunner. Now, my target usually with these stunners is somewhere around 200 volts or so. That's usually what I'm targeting. These devices are set up as step-up transformers. They're taking the 110, 115 volts that come out of the wall and stepping it up to whatever you call for. The way they do that is by reducing the amperage. The problem you run into is that if you turn this thing all the way up to like 500 volts, you're going to have very little amperage. And so this actually compensates when you start stunning the pig. You'll see a little bit of a voltage drop and your amperage will come up a little bit. We call that saturation with these step-up transformers. So I'm going to activate my wand right now. I've got this on the lowest setting. There we go. All right, so I've got 355 volts.